are you? Today I'm doing a special Facebook Live in which I will answer questions. So I will ask with the first question, and that's a very interesting question. What would be the best strategy to learn a language watching series? Is it possible to learn with this, or you can only improve understanding? So, is it possible to learn Spanish watching series? And my answer is yes, it is possible. Is it possible to learn only watching series? This I'm less sure, but I'd say probably not. Probably it's not enough. So what could we do? What would be the best strategy to learn as much Spanish as possible watching series? My idea, my proposal is to make an active learning, because watching series is a kind of passive learning. You're just listening. You're not doing anything actively. So my proposal is to activate the learning. So how can we do that? For example, we can learn a lot of vocabulary watching series. So what we can do is that while we are watching the series, we can write on a paper 5 words that we don't understand, 5 new words. And why 5 and not all? Because if you're paying attention during the full episode, you're paying attention to the words you don't understand, first you will lose track of what's going on and you will get bored. So my recommendation is to write down only 5. Then in the next episode, you will get another 5. In the next episode, you will get another 5. So 5 is enough. So you get these 5 words, and what do we do with this? First, of course, we check what these words mean. You can use a dictionary, you can use Google Translate. So first is to understand the meaning. Then what you can do is to make sentences using these words. This way you're being more active and you are seeing the words used in context. Then you add these words to whatever you use to learn vocabulary. For example, I think I had mentioned in the past that I use an app for the phone that uses flashcards. So I introduce all the new words I learned in this app, and every day this app shows me a certain number of words. And then what it does is that it keeps spacing, increasing the spacing in time. Every time it shows me one word. So for example, one word, first I will see it one day, then after one day, then after 2 days, 3, 5, 10, 15. So it keeps increasing the time, and that makes that finally this word goes to our long-term memory. So we have learned this word. But you can use other things. Maybe you have a notebook, any way that works for you to learn vocabulary. But it's important that you review these new words at some point, because otherwise you will forget them and you won't learn them. So remember, when you're watching this episode, write down 5 words you don't know, that you don't understand, search the meaning, make new sentences, and write them somewhere where you can review them later. So only with this, we're already listening, expanding vocabulary, and writing. And if you are watching the series with the subtitles in Spanish, then you're also reading. So you see how many things we're already doing with watching the series. We're already listening, we are writing, we are reading, listening, reading, writing, and learning vocabulary. We can also practice speaking. What you can do is that you can repeat aloud. You have to repeat it loud, not thinking. You have to repeat it loud, a sentence that you watch in the film, in the series. This you can do any point in the series. You can stop. So let's imagine that you're watching the series in Netflix or in any other platform where you can stop and go back. I mean, of course, if you're watching in the traditional television, you cannot stop and you cannot go back. But I know nowadays most people are watching series in Netflix. So there you can stop, you can go back. So you can go back, you listen this sentence, you repeat it loud, and if it's even better if you can record it. So once you record it, you can listen again the sentence from the actor, and then you listen yours, and you compare. Does it sound like the native? Does it sound similar? If it doesn't, try again. Try maybe 2 or 3 times, not too many that you get bored, and try to get the right pronunciation and the right intonation. Okay, so that's also something you can do watching at the series, so you can practice your speaking and pronunciation. So also my recommendation is that you do it only 1-2 sentences per episode. Don't get bored, don't get too much overwhelmed with too many things, but do it at least once, so you activate also the speaking and pronunciation. So you see how many things we can do with watching series. Now we are only missing grammar. So is it possible to learn Spanish without learning the grammar? This is a bit controversial. Some people say yes, some people say no. There's many people nowadays and some methods that claim to teach Spanish in a more natural way without the grammar. And others still prefer to teach and learn with grammar. Personally, when I learn languages, I like to learn the grammar. I like to understand how this new language works. And also what I've seen in my students is that it helps them to learn the language if they're learning also grammar. In my personal opinion and in my personal experience, what I've seen is that learning grammar kind of accelerates the learning. So it's possible to learn the language without learning the grammar. Actually, right now, when I speak English or when I speak French, I don't think about the grammar anymore. I learned it so many years ago, but I don't remember anymore. It just seems natural. It just comes naturally, the language. But of course, I've been exposed to English and French for a long, long time, for many, many years. So how long you need to be exposed to a language to be able to speak without learning all the rules? Probably a lot. So that's why I think that at the beginning, it helps a lot to learn some rules, because just by learning the rules, it makes your understanding easier. It's easier for you to understand what you're listening and reading. You understand if that person is talking in future, on past. The prepositions will also help you understand some nuances of the language. So, and then it also helps you to be able to make your own sentences, to start speaking, to start expressing yourself. So I prefer to teach and to learn with grammar. If this is your case, then what I suggest is that you complement your learning with the series with grammar. How can you do that? For example, you can get a grammar book. So a grammar book is a great tool because it will give you the full overview of the Spanish grammar in order, right? In the right order, from the easiest things to the more complex things. And they will be divided by level also. So that's one way. If you don't want a book, you prefer something free, or you prefer something that's not so heavy on the backpack if you're traveling, you could use some apps, for example. You can look for apps with grammar exercises or watching in websites. I still think that the book is the more complete and the one that will guide you better. But there are also many free resources, there are free apps, there are free websites with exercises. So there are a few ways, at least, of learning the grammar apart from the series. Then also what you can do if, for example, right now you're learning how to conjugate the present or the past, is that next time you watch the series, you pay attention how the actors, when they're speaking, they are using these verbs in present or in past. So also don't do that for the full episode because that's going to be too tiring, too boring. Just maybe do it for like 5-10 minutes. Pay attention to the dialogues. Pay attention how they are using the language. Let's see if you can identify what you are learning in the series. So you see what you are learning from the book and you see it in like real life, you see it in context, you see it how it's used in normal dialogues. So that's a way of introducing the grammar into your learning with a series. So these are the ideas that I got so far. Let me know if you're learning Spanish with series, if you have tried, if you have other ideas of how we could use series to learn and improve Spanish. So you can just leave a comment here and I would be very happy to know about your experience. So that's everything for today. I will be back in the next video with more tips, resources, ideas, and learnings. Hope you have a great weekend. See you. Bye.